Hey, what's going on YouTube? Dexter and Dr. Tanya here. Hey,
Be-
welcome back to our channel.
Yes, yes.
It's
We're
good.
excited to be here.
Yeah, it's good to
It
be
feels
back.
good.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
I'm loving it.
It's good to be
I'm
back.
loving it.
All right, so look, we got a really good story that we're going to share with you. But before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that little
Join
bell,
us.
and subscribe to our channel so you can be notified when we go live with our teachings and trainings. It's a lot we're going to be bringing to you.
It
All right, you
is.
ready to get in?
I am. I love this story. I remember when we did the Think and Grow Rich training that we did. It is an incredible workshop. Okay, but we this one wasn't in the movie. We shared different clips, but this one wasn't in there. But we were like, we gonna talk about this because it speaks volumes. All right, y'all. So let's take a listen.
All right, let's get it in. So this is called a 50 cent lesson in persistence. Okay.
Persistence.
All right. So shortly after Mr. Darby received his degree from the University of Hard Knocks and had decided to profit by his experience in the gold mining business, he had the good fortune to be present on an occasion that proved to him that no does not necessarily mean no. If you're taking notes, you want to write that down, okay? No doesn't mean no. One afternoon, he was helping his uncle grind wheat in an old fashioned mill. The uncle operated a large farm on which a number of colored sharecrop farmers lived. Quietly, the door was opened, and a small colored child, the daughter of a tenant, walked in and took her place near the door. The uncle looked up, saw the child, and barked at her roughly. "What do you want?" Meekly, right, the child replied, "My mammy say send her 50 cents." And I'm gonna bring you in on the other part. Bring me 50 cents.
Let me see what
Send her 50 cents. And he said, "I'll not do it," the uncle retorted. "Now you run on home." She said, "Yes, sir." The child replied, but she did not move. The uncle went ahead with his work, so busily engaged that he did not pay attention to the child to observe that she did not leave. When he looked up and saw her still standing there, he yelled at her, "I told you to go home. Now go, or I'll take a switch to you." All right? The little girl said, "Yes, sir." But she did not budge an inch. The uncle dropped a sack of grain he was about to pour into the mill hopper. Right? He dropped a sack of grain he was about to pour into the mill hopper, picked up a barrel stave, and started toward the child with an expression on his face that indicated trouble. Darby held his breath. So now remember, Darby is the one watching. He held his breath. He was certain that he was about to witness a murder. He knew his uncle had a fierce temper. He knew that colored children were not supposed to defy white people in that part of the country. When the uncle reached the spot where the child was standing, she quickly stepped forward one step, looked into his eyes, and screamed at the top of her shrill voice.
My mammy's gotta have that 50 cents.
That's what she
What she
said.
said.
All right. So the uncle stopped, looked at her for a minute. So he stopped and looked at her. Then slowly laid the barrel stave on the floor, put his hand in his pocket, took out a $50 and gave it to her. The child took the money and slowly backed toward the door, never taking her eyes off the man whom she had just conquered. All right. Now this is the last paragraph. After she had gone, the uncle sat down on a box and looked out the window into space for more than 10 minutes. I wonder what was on his mind.
I
Right?
do.
He was pondering with awe over the whipping he had just taken. Mr. Darby, too, was doing some thinking. That was the first time in all his experience that he had seen a colored child deliberately master an adult white person. How did she do it? What happened to his uncle that caused him to lose his fierceness and become as docile as a lamb? What strange power did this child use that made her master over her superior? These and other similar questions flashed into Darby's mind,
Wow.
but he did not find the answer until years later when he told me the story. So we're going to stop there. But The name of it was a 50-cent lesson in persistence. All right, Tanya. Well, I mean,
Look, at the very that last statement, he did not find the answer until years later. And so we get to hear about it. I love that. I
yeah,
was sharing with Dexter earlier, we understand what it means to be a pioneer, a trailblazer. So this is just a little extra tip right up in here, because you may be a pioneer yourself. You may be that trailblazer. And sometimes we're like wondering what in the world is taking me so long. But a pioneer has to go through the process typically first, or at an early stage. And then those that you teach and talk to, then they learn faster. So their move is a bit faster. So I don't know if sometimes you might be in that position. If that's the case, that's just a little added tip right
that's
there,
good, Tanya.
hearing that line.
That's good.
But this story, all right, so here we have, it's a story on persistence. And you're talking about a slave child, or at this time, it's sharecroppers. So they're no longer slaves, but they're working the land. And so and I'll say it even in this way, because we've learned so much even about that, about being sharecroppers, since we visited a plantation here near our home. So here she is, her parents are sharecroppers, they're working the land and basically still being mistreated, as we know, and also being mistreated by way of what it is that they do and getting paid. They figured out a way to keep them enslaved, although it wasn't the way they did it prior to Emancipation Proclamation. So that's the time period that we're in, okay?
Yeah.
And her mother sends her to him to say she needs 50 cents. And he barks at her.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then she's persistent and she asks again. And here's the interesting thing, Dexter. She says, yes, sir, but didn't move.
It's
But
amazing.
didn't move.
And look, so
I'm like, wow.
something that the book doesn't say, but we can use our own imaginations, is that the little girl had to know that what she was doing, quote unquote, was not allowed.
Right.
And she was also of an age of understanding that the temper that this man had, because of the positioning that
Oh yeah.
she and her family
Well,
was in.
think about it. She
So-
never took her eyes off of him.
Yeah.
I mean, from the onset, she's watching, and I'm like, my God, it's so much in here. I'm like, God, just
It's
kind of
it's
speak and
powerful
give us
stuff,
some
man.
understanding here. And I'm gonna tell you, there's a persistence, but that persistence was also in a confidence. Okay. The other thing that I just kind of hear and feel in my spirit is her mother. So there's an authority. Come on. There was an authority that even rose above the authority that she stood in front of. I'm loving that right there. Okay.
That's good.
There's some things we're going to be talking about in the academy tonight, but that authority right there, I want you to know yours. We want you to know yours. You're going to have to understand yours. You have a power. You have an ability. You have several abilities. You have several powers. And sometimes we don't recognize and know that we do. Okay. So when you come to a place of realizing this, then that's going to rise above any opposition that comes your way. So that's the thing that just kind of dropped in me. I believe that even with her mom, she's like, yes, sir, I hear you, but my mommy's got to have that 50 cents. And was it my mammy that they even
My
said,
mammy.
but my mama got to have that 50 cent. You hear what I'm saying? So there was a persistence that was there. She knew it, she believed it, and she came in the strength, never taking her eyes off of what? Her goal.
That's good. That's good.
Never taking her eye off of her goal.
So, that's really good, Tanya. And I'm like, okay, so as you're listening to us talk about this section, think about what level of persistence that you have or don't have, right? Because reading this story, I'm thinking of the times that I just gave up. I just
Amen.
didn't keep going.
I know, me
all this
too.
kind of stuff. And just kicked the bucket and just said, I'm done. But that's not, this story teaches all of us. So if you're in business, right, this is for you. If you're at a job and you're like, you know what, I want to get a promotion, and you went for that promotion and you just didn't get it, don't quit. Keep going. Be persistent. Keep looking, right? One thing that hopped out to me, this uncle,
Of
he
Darby's.
sat down on a box and looked out the window into space for more than 10 minutes. After she
After she exhibited her
So,
authority,
yeah.
and he gave her that 50 cents.
So now, if it's a visual, here she is, here he is. He picks up a weapon and charges toward her.
Come on.
And she takes a step toward him
Ooh.
and said, "My mammy said she need that 50 cent." What? I don't even know how to explain that, because what level of bravery, persistence, and just the sheer desire and will to say, "I'm going to get what I came here for." So those of us that operate in business, whatever it is that we do, we got to take this and run with it. This part of Think and Grow Rich, we just at the beginning of the book.
We are.
We're in chapter 1.
Yeah, we're at the beginning of the book.
Bam, it's just hitting you in your face. That's just amazing to me.
Okay, catch what Dexter just said. He said as he came toward her, see, by now he's already told her 2 times she's not listening. So he drops what he's doing, picks up a weapon, and is now coming toward a little girl.
A little girl.
And so he steps up, and babe, what you say? She took a step toward him. Come on now, did y'all catch that?
Yeah.
What did she do? There's opposition before her. I want you to think about opposition that comes our way. What happens when that opposition rises up? Do you step back or do you step forward? Come on now. That's how you learn. Either you're going to step forward because you're like, I'm going after this. What happens? There are things that we desire, but we also have comfort zones. When we're inside of these comfort zones, it's a whole lot easier, honestly, for the flesh to push you toward comfort. See, the mind, you've already conditioned the brain based on how you think. With this conditioning, if any opposition comes against what you're normally used to doing, then you're going to have a natural sensation within to stay where you've always been, even though you have a desire for something else. You're looking at over there. You want that, but I'm comfortable over here. Are y'all hearing me? So what do you have to do? There's a resistance that must take place. A resistance for you to do what? Pursue, persevere, be persistent. So stop stepping back. Step forward, step into it with the discomfort, with the fear, the same fear she had. You're going to step into it. I don't know what's getting ready to happen. I don't know how things are going to turn out. But what I do know is that I want this 50 cents. I don't know if this is going to beat me down. I don't know if it's going to shake my thing. I don't know. But I know that I want, and I'm going to get this 50 cents.
I'm going to get that 50.
So you got to stop giving up. Oh, I talked about that earlier today. Go to my page, go to Facebook, go to Instagram. Listen, I think it's on a reel. It's not even on my page, it's on a reel. Try to catch it, okay? Because I'm telling you right now, this is what we all have to get. And the last thing that I'm going to say, babe, because you know I can go. My last thing is, even when we talk about things like this, sometimes you may say, but God, what in the world if something doesn't work out? You have to understand that persistence is for the goal. It's for the overall thing. It's for what it is that you're looking for. And I'm going to be persistent toward it. And if I hit a roadblock, it's right here, then I'm going to have to figure out a way to go around it. You see what I'm saying? But I'm still being persistent. Understand that.
That's good.
I hope you're understanding me.
That's good.
Let me know if you are, okay? If you're not, let me know.
Yeah.
You know, so we can clarify some more. We'll do it in comments. But I'm telling you right now, there is nothing like taking authority when you have it, opposed to giving it over to a thing that does not. Your authority is yours unless you give it away.
That's good, Tanya. That's good. So guys, look, so that was amazing. Thank you for that, Tanya. So this is a lesson in persistence.
Come on.
A 50-cent lesson. So look, we're going to come back. We're going to keep giving you some of this information. So make sure you hit the subscribe button.
Please.
You got to subscribe to the channel.
Tell people.
And tell people, come on over, check out the upgraders, Dexter and Tanya. They're going to be talking about some amazing things. We're going to keep challenging you. We challenge us, but we're going to also keep challenging you. Okay?
Amen.
So, hey, we hope you enjoyed it. Hope you just get a lot out of it. Remember persistence. Don't give up. Keep going, and you're going to make it happen. All right?
Yep.
Okay, guys, we're out of here. We'll talk to you later. Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye, everybody.